Hi friends. Today I am back with a new video. Anyone who rides a bike has faced a fuel overflow problem at some point in their life. If you carefully watch this video from beginning to end, you will be able to solve this problem by yourself at home. So, let's get started. Usually, the carburetor is located under the fuel tank. So first, I am opening the tank lock. I disconnect the fuel pipe and the fuel positioning meter wire, then turn the fuel switch OFF, and carefully remove the fuel tank. Next, I disconnect all the pipes and wires connected to the carburetor. The carburetor top cap, also called the mixing chamber cap, is tightly fitted. So I gently tap it to loosen the thread. To remove the carburetor easily, I am removing some nearby kits and parts. Now the carburetor top cap opens easily. I remove the throttle slide along with the jet needle. Next, I remove the bolts attached to the inlet pipe or carburetor bend. Then I loosen the hose clamp connected to the air intake hose or air cleaner boot. After completing these steps, I remove the carburetor completely. Now I remove the screws of the float bowl and take off the cover. There is a silicone rubber gasket used to make it waterproof. This bowl-shaped part attached under the carburetor is called the float bowl or float chamber. I can see a small amount of fine dirt inside my float chamber. So I am cleaning these particles. If too much dirt accumulates here, it may cause fuel overflow. So any unwanted dirt inside must be cleaned properly. It works like a small fuel reservoir, where fuel from the tank is stored. The upright brass pin you see inside is called the main jet. The white part you see is called the float. It is usually made of plastic or thin metal and floats inside the fuel bowl. Its job is to maintain the correct fuel level. I remove the float pin and take out the float. Under the float, there is the float needle or valve. It is a small narrow pin connected to the float. Next to the main jet, there is another small brass jet called the pilot jet or slow jet. It supplies fuel when the bike is idling or running at low speed. The float pin is a small rod that holds the float to the carburetor body. It helps the float move like a hinge. The overflow tube is a fixed brass pipe standing upright inside the bowl. If the float valve fails and excess fuel enters, the extra fuel flows out through this tube. On the outer side of the carburetor, there are two screws that control engine speed and fuel mixture. One is the idle screw or RPM screw, and the other is the air-fuel mixture screw, also called the pilot screw. I also remove the throttle position sensor, TPS. After opening it, I can see a small brush-like component. Any extra dirt here can cause mechanical problems, so I clean it carefully. This sensor sends information to the CDI unit about how much pickup you are giving. Then the engine understands when and how strong the spark should be. This helps improve engine performance and fuel efficiency. Next, I remove the manual choke. I clean the outer surface using petrol to maintain good working quality. Now I soak the small carburetor parts in fresh petrol for proper cleaning. Now I am cleaning the main jet and pilot jet. If very fine dirt gets inside these jets, the bike may not start properly or may jerk while running. While cleaning, do not use thick wire or metal objects, because it can enlarge the tiny holes and damage the jets. The function of the main jet is very important. When riding at medium to high speed, fuel flows through the main jet. It controls the fuel supply at higher speeds. On the other hand, the pilot jet works during idle or low-speed riding. Smooth engine start and low RPM performance depend on this jet. The float needle is one of the most sensitive and important parts of the carburetor. It looks like a small pin with a conical-shaped tip. Most modern float needles have a small black rubber tip. This rubber tip tightly seals the fuel inlet. When the fuel level drops, the float moves downward. Then the needle opens the fuel inlet, allowing fuel to enter. When the fuel reaches the correct level, the float rises. Then it pushes the needle upward and seals the fuel inlet. After cleaning everything, I reinstall the main jet and pilot jet. Since they are made of soft brass, I tighten them gently using normal hand pressure. Now I clean the seat of the float needle using a cotton bud. Never use sharp or hard objects here, because even a small scratch can damage the carburetor. Next, I place the float needle together with the float inside the float bowl. Then I insert the float pin to secure it. After setting everything properly, I place the float bowl cover along with the silicone gasket, and tighten the screws. Next, I reconnect the manual choke handle. Now I fully tighten the mixture screw and idle screw. After that, I reinstall the throttle position sensor, TPS. Now the carburetor is completely ready to use. I reconnect it to the bike, following the same sequence in which I removed it. After setting everything properly, now we will start the carburetor tuning process. First, remember one important thing: never keep both the mixture screw and idle screw fully tightened, because the bike may not start in that condition. At first, I gently tighten the air-fuel mixture screw all the way in. Then I loosen it by about 1.5 to 2 turns. This is called the base setting, from where tuning begins. Now I turn the fuel switch on and start the engine. After starting, I let the engine run in idle position for about 2 to 3 minutes, so that it reaches normal operating temperature. Next, I adjust the idle screw slightly, so that the throttle stays a little open and the bike can start easily. Now I slowly adjust the mixture screw little by little. Sometimes I loosen it slightly, and sometimes I tighten it slightly, while carefully listening to the engine sound. The position where the engine sound becomes smoothest and most stable, that is the correct mixture setting. After finding that position, I use the idle screw again to adjust the idle speed properly. Make sure the bike runs smoothly in idle, without stopping, and without moving forward on its own. Finally, I give a few light throttle revs to check the response. If the bike takes throttle smoothly, without jerking, and returns to idle without stopping, then it means the carburetor tuning is correct. I hope if you watch this video carefully, you will be able to solve common carburetor problems at home by yourself. If you found this video helpful, please like the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe and turn on the bell icon to get notifications of upcoming videos.